How you guys doing? It's Isaac again, programmable audio. We're going to do episode 3. Episode 3, Mixed with a Newb. Part 3, episode 3. 3 of 3, right? That's for Josh. All right. So I was at the gym again. That's why we got the bandana on. I'm not trying to be a cholo. I do kind of look a little bit like a vato, but it's just so the sweat doesn't go in my eyes. And I tend to sweat after the gym, so this just keeps me from just having a face full of sweat. So I had a good day at the gym. I'm on week 2 of my 6-week challenge. I am down 16 pounds, which is phenomenal. Pretty pleased with that. It's pretty motivating. I do kind of think I'm starting to slim down a little bit in the face. So maybe you can go back to video 1 and watch and see the progress. And I'm all sweaty and nasty. I'm okay with that. This is what I like to do. I like to come back from the gym, sit down and mix, and make a little quick tutorial. So I'm not going to worry too much about, showering up and all that stuff. I don't care. You don't really need to look at my face the whole time because we're just going to mix. So here we have, again, digging holes. Where we left off was we cleaned up the bass, the kick drum with a gate. And I had mentioned that oftentimes I'll immediately start bouncing the bass and the kick off of each other and try to make them sit right, because this is one of the biggest things you need to do when you mix. So today the topic is going to be bass, and actually let me mute I apologize for my messenger going off there. That was probably loud in the capture. It's okay, I'll learn these things. I'll mute that in the future. Maybe I just won't even have Chrome open. Anyway, today's topic, we're going to do we're going to do bass and kick. How do we put it? Making them play nice together in the mix. Making them sit right together in the mix. Balancing bass and kick. And the plugin we're going to use, we're going to look at audio statistics. It's a very simple plugin. I think it's one that's often overlooked, honestly. But I've been using it a lot. It's pretty powerful and I like it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, what I want to do is I want to send the kick and the bass together to a new track. And we're just going to call this, let's call this punch bus. It doesn't matter what you call it. In fact, this track in the end we may delete. Okay, this might be a throwaway track. It doesn't matter. I'm going to color it just because I'm in the habit of coloring it. That way, when I glance at the screen, I can kind of see, I'll see it. Let me make it sky blue. All right, or whatever that is, robin egg blue. Now I'm going to route. I'm going to send. There's 2 ways to send. We talked briefly about the routing matrix, which I still have open down here. I tend to leave my routing matrix open versus having the mixer open until near the end of the mix when I need to get in there and tweak volumes. So you can send through the routing matrix. I believe we covered that quickly last time. The alternate way to do routing is, so here's the parent folder of my bass bus, the parent folder of my bass, and here you can right click over the routing, this little routing box, and you can quickly come to these drop down send and receive. And so we're going to go sends, and we're going to go send it to that punch bus that we just created. Boom. We're going to do the same thing for this kick bus that we created a couple of videos ago. Was it last video or 2 videos ago? I'm starting to lose track. I know we're on number 3. All right. Custom color, red. Forgot to color this one last time. Now they're all red. Nice. And you could even come in here and make these a different shade of red. In fact, let's do that. Custom color. We'll just make them like a little darker red. Yeah. All right. Not that it really matters, but later you could come in well, let's just do it right now. Top snare, bottom snare. Where's that other snare? Oh, am I missing a snare? Huh, oh no, there it is. Okay. This is a little aside. I'm getting off track, but just another little kind of workflow thing that might help you is custom colors. So it's still red. It's still within the realm of red, but it's not as dark as the other ones. Yeah, it's not even, it's almost not even noticeable. Well, actually here it is, And I think when you look at the mixer, it will be noticeable. So just Control M is what I just did for the shortcut. And let's see here. See, so down here at the very bottom, you see it is kind of a little bit different. And you could use something a lot more dramatic to make it more noticeable. So we're going to go back Alt-R to get the routing matrix to pop up below. I'm just used to seeing that in the bottom, so that's all. All right, continuing on. Where was I? So we sent the bass to the punch bus, and we're going to send the kick to the punch bus. Okay, boom. Let's go back up to the punch bus. We're going to solo it. That means that's all we're hearing. I'm going to hit play. All right. Right away, too much bass. And that's because I had the bass all the way up. You know what we're going to do here first? Because I think as I've been going along, I've been doing some just quick examples of volume balancing, and I want to set everything back to 0. So unfortunately, there's no quick way to do that. I can do Control A. That's what I'm about to hit on the keyboard. That would select all my tracks. But then if I double click any of these volumes, it will center them. Let's do it. Watch. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you can't. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So here we have. Okay, these are tracks that I added between mixing, and I'll explain those in a bit. That might actually be part 4. So what I'm going to do, yeah, everything looks. See how these are all in the up position. They're top dead center or at 0. Top dead center is from automobiles. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to drag these all down to negative. Give myself some room here. Let's say -8. Okay. The reason you do this, it's called headroom. This is something that's really kind of hard to learn at first, but it's important. Because if you're all the way at 0 before you mix, if everything's at 0, it's always easier to move something down than move everything down. So for example, right there I had to turn, the reason I'm doing this, what I noticed is that I had turned the bass up to +4 at some point between tutorials when I was just kind of dinking around without recording. So that tells me the bass is going to need to be boosted to the point where it may exceed 0 dB, which means everything else has to come down. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by bringing everything down. That way there's headroom and we can begin mixing from a sort of reduced level, and that way it gives you a buffer zone between 0 and where you start, so that you don't have to constantly, okay, let's drag everything back down, now kick the bass up, drag everything back down. You just start down there, and now I know if I double click here and bring this bass bus to 0, it may be right where it needs to be. So that's kind of a long and awkward way to explain that. So let's listen to this punch bus again and see now if bringing everything down, how that helped the balance. Okay, so now it's probably very hard to hear, I'm sure, in the recording. The only thing I can do really, I can give it a gain boost. All right, so I'm boosting the gain using an EQ plugin just to boost it in the recording. Actually, we can bring this punch bus to 0. Okay, the thing is now I don't hear the kick bus at all, which is really strange. Okay, now I'm starting to hear it. You hear it? Okay, there's kick by itself. And let's go ahead and we're gonna double click this kick bus and bring it to 0. Okay. So let's go back to the punch bus. There we go. All right, hear that? You have the bass and the kick side by side, on top of each other, so to speak, not side by side. If you were talking about a stereo image and one was left and one was right, they'd be kind of side by side. All right, so the audio statistic plugin, which is as I said, in these tutorials I'd like to go one topic, which is sort of a broad mixing topic, and then one specific plugin from Reaper, and how the two kind of work together. So we're talking about making the kick and bass play nice, and we're going to use audio statistics. So just start typing audio, And there's at the very top. It's a JavaScript plugin, JS. I think that means JavaScript, I think. So here it is. Now what this does, as you play through a track, this is capturing information for you. It's a tool to use for live monitoring if you want to watch as the track is playing through, or even as the sound is coming in, which has become a good tool for me in the tracking room. I learned to put this on the insert FX chain, so as the signal comes into the software, this plugin is telling you, precisely what kind of information you have coming in. But now we're using it as an after, as a forensic sort of the after, that's the best term I could come up with, forensic. I'm just shooting from the hip here. All right, so I'm gonna hit play and you'll start to see it's starting to move. Okay, now we got all our numbers jumping around. All right, so RMS window current. RMS roots mean squared. RMS is just sort of an averaged decibel level. It's kind of hard to understand what it means, but you have a window, and that's where this here RMS window. It's funny that these are only right. Am I somehow getting only mono? Could this be a mono? Oh, wait a minute here. Okay, for some reason I seem to be getting mono. Okay, that's okay, no. Oh, this could be it. Output. Wait, hold on. None of this stuff is panned. Okay. I'm gonna stop the song there. Okay, for some reason, I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't checked this mix enough. Let me check my routing because something's going on where I'm just getting in left and right. So to check your routing, here's what I did. I just clicked on the little routing box, the one we right clicked over earlier. You just left click on it, regular click. And I want to make sure here that I don't, for some reason, have this set to, like here you could have this punch bus. You could pan these left and right if you wanted to on purpose, but that wasn't my intention. Okay, no, see width 100, whoa, this might be it. See here? Yeah. See, I don't know. Okay, 0% width. Pan, center, there. Okay, see, this one was panned all the way. I don't know why. That is really strange. Let's check the kick. I'm not sure how that happened. And if that's not a default thing, I don't believe. See, this one's panned all the way right too, I think. Okay, I'm not sure. So now when we hit play, I expect both sides to move. So if you finished using this and you want to kind of clear the board, you can just do reset to factory defaults on the drop down here. Boom, it all goes back to 0. Okay, let's hit spacebar, and you should start to see a jump here. Okay, I do not know what's going on. I only have stuff in the left channel. This is laughable. I mean, this is actually, no, I'm sorry. You know what? This is okay looking. RMS window current left, RMS current window right. So I think I'm okay. RMS total loudness. Okay. Now what you can do, if you want to achieve parity with these two, you can. I'm going to pan the bass far right, and here's the pan button right next to the routing button. You hover over it, it says pan center. Pan means left or right. I'm going to pan this one hard right, and I'm going to pan the kick hard left. Now, if you're wearing headphones, you can probably hear that. I don't know. I'm not sure how that'll come up on the phone, but so now you watch these things jumping, and they're not mirrored as when we were watching it before, and both were panned center. I can barely talk. They were jumping equally. Well, see, here's a good example. The kick is not even. I don't even know why there's no kick now. That's really strange. Okay. Wow. Yeah. See, guys. Sorry. This is noob stuff here. This is why we say mix with a noob, because a lot of this stuff is all a mystery. So I'm going to pan all of these left. I don't know if that's going to make any difference. Okay. There's the kick moving. Okay. So now I'm going to hit stop. So this audio statistics tool now has captured what we played, okay? This RMS total loudness has told us how much loudness from each side. And I kind of, by starting it panned center, I kind of screwed up the statistics. So I'm going to reset it one more time. All right, I'm going to hit play again. This time I'm going to let it play a few measures to illustrate an example. All right, that's good enough. Okay, so on the left we have panned hard left, we have the kick drum, and we have panned hard right, the bass. Now, again, this is just a tool to get a feel for something early on. You would never pan like that in the final mix. That would just be really odd, unless you were doing some crazy experimental thing. But what this tool now tells you is, in general, your left, okay, so when you have both bus channels set to, ooh, this is not good. Okay, so again, I'm learning myself here. I'm gonna put the bass bus back to 0 and the kick bus, and I imagine, no, okay, the kick bus is 0. All right, let's reset this one more time. All right, I'm gonna let this play over the audio. Yeah, and that bass is really thundering now. So this is telling me, just by listening, just by hearing it, I know I gotta dial that bass back, and I gotta get that kick drum up to where it needs to be. All right, so looking at the numbers here, there should be a peak. Where's our peak? Peak left and peak right. Left is peaking at -15 and right is peaking at -8.48. Now, that means that the right is much louder as far as peak, meaning at its loudest point, it's much louder, almost double, right? 8.5 times 2 would be, 17. And again, remember with decibels, if you're completely new to decibels, 0 decibels represents the loudest sound the software and the system could theoretically ever produce. It's this sort of weird number. They're saying, like, if you hit 0, that's the loudest sound that your system could theoretically make. Beyond that, if you're going to like +1, +2, everything above 0 is you're stressing the system out. You're actually driving everything harder. At least that's how I understand it. And then these negative numbers, so you count backwards from 0. Like -30 is kind of like the floor of hearing. Below -30, and it's almost impossible to hear something. Anyway, if you're completely unfamiliar with what these numbers mean, the greater the negative number, the quieter, the more quiet the sound is. So right away what we're looking at here is our kick and bass are not anywhere near parity. Parity meaning equal in level, equal in strength. So we have you can look at these numbers. RMS meter minimum. Okay, I think this one, RMS meter user input. This user input, I believe, is for when you have incoming audio. All right, so here our window max left and our window max right. Again, it paints a picture, -3198, -2092. So it's about 10 decibels in general louder. Okay. Total loudness and total loudness left and right. This is saying that it's more like 20, well, let's say 18 decibels, 24, 34, 44, yeah, something like 18 decibels spread, a difference of 18 decibels. So using this tool, we can begin to dial in where these two levels need to be. And if we go back and look, if you forget which side was which, bass was panned all the way right, and your kick was panned all the way left. So the bass is much too loud. Okay, so just as a baseline, this is just something you can try. Let's use this peak. Let's use the peak number, because this RMS is a little confusing to understand, but it's essentially an average, whatever the window is. So if it's like a 10 millisecond window, if you take a look at 10 milliseconds of the audio at any given point, what's the average output in decibels of that little section? Roots mean squared, so it's, you take the number, you take the root of it, you take the mean, like it's just like a mathematical way of grabbing a number out of 10 milliseconds of, and I use 10 milliseconds arbitrarily because it could be, you can adjust your window in some plugins. This plugin, I don't think, like, this doesn't tell us what our window is. This doesn't tell us how long the window is, and I don't think you can. Oh yeah, here you can if you want to. And this is the code. This is the skeleton of the plugin here. So if we look through here, I'm sure we could find, oh yeah, window MS 300, yeah, milliseconds. So our it's 300 millisecond window, I guess, is what I take that to mean, just at first glance. Anyway, RMS, again, it's just a way of saying the sort of average sound. If you are familiar with speakers, car speakers, home speakers, what they'll list is, they'll list a peak, like your speakers can make, 450 watt peak, but they're 300 watt average. So it's sort of speaking about this RMS, where the speakers at their loudest, if there's a very loud push from the source, they'll go up to that amount of watts periodically, but typically what they're running at, if you're just going along without a spike, so that's kind of what corresponds to RMS, the output of the track averaged. So again, I got hung up on RMS. I hate to do that to you, and I'm sorry. So what we can try here quickly is, the difference between these two is about, what, 8 plus 8 would be 16, so it's about 7, right? 8 plus 7, 15, yeah, it's roughly 7. Let's say 7 dB. So that tells us that the bass needs to come down by about 7 dB. So we're going to drag it from 8 to about negative 15 dB. Does my math hold up? 7, it's already at negative 8, so we'd actually have to go, yeah, negative 15. Yep, so we're going to go negative 15. And what I'm doing here, I'll pull that up in a second again. When you grab this slider and you move it by just naked without a modifier, it goes quickly. If you want to move it precisely, like point, 1/10 at a time, hold down Control. Click on it, hold down Control, and you can move it 1/10 of a dB at a time, which is handy. All right, so I got it at negative 15, and our kick bus is still at 0. So let's go back to our statistic plugin here on the punch bus. I don't even know why I picked punch bus, just because the kick and the bass do give you low end punch, and if you're not careful, you'll hurt your listeners' ears. And honestly, music that isn't treated like this, when people turn it up, their ear starts to hear like, oh man, the kick and the bass are not working at all together. They don't even have to know anything about music, but their ear will go, whoa, nope, not even, this is not for me, I'm not enjoying this, this is terrible, and they'll turn it right off. So like, this is why I'm doing it in episode 3, because you have to get this mix right or you're done. My personal opinion, and from what I've read and seen, this is low end. Like Mixer Man, again, I'm citing one of my influencers. He says that get your low end under control, and the rest of the mix kind of finds its way. You will be judged upon the low end of your mix. All right, so again, we pulled up the audio statistic plugin. We ran the bass and the kick into a bus. We called it the punch bus. We've analyzed by panning one hard left and one hard right, we were able to view side by side like their volume output, an average of it, and a peak, and we kind of got an idea. Okay, they're anywhere from 7 to 20 or 18 decibels difference depending on peak or average. So now we tweaked one, and we're going to go ahead and hit play again and let the audio statistic plugin gather the information again. So you're kind of doing like forensics here. This is you're kind of like looking at evidence, okay? Already from my ear, like I'm not hearing much kick, and that might be a headphone problem. Okay, you know what? Did I? What did I do? Where did I drag? Okay, no, where's my... Alright, again, so reminder, you're dealing with a Newb, and I meant to drag the bass down to -15. That's what I thought I did. Bass... Oh, these are all... Okay. So I'm not sure what I did, but I grabbed the wrong... These are all still at -8, which is good. Yeah, my bass is at 0. I dragged the wrong thing. Oh, maybe it was bass 1. Okay, so I gotta laugh at myself because I'm just so awkward, and that's okay, because I'm trying to teach you and I'm trying to learn myself at the same time, which is fine. So I think I grabbed onto bass 1 and I dragged it, which it doesn't look like it. I mean, to my ear, I couldn't even hear any difference. So we're going to do the bass bus down to -15. So without holding control, I can get it close, and then I hold control, and then I get it right to -15. So our kick bus is at 0, and our bass is at -15. And let's see what we get here. All right, so just looking at the numbers, it looks like, you know, we're getting closer now. We've narrowed the gap, but yeah, not... We're still talking a spread of like 10. Let's look at this peak here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not hearing kick at all. This is really strange. There it goes. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to hit stop now. You can see here we're getting closer. The spread now is only 6, roughly. Okay. Now, in the end, these two may not be exactly... We may not want them perfectly equal with each other. We may want one to be a little bit louder. In fact, to my ear, I want the bass a little bit louder. I'm the bass player, so I have a little bit of a bias, but I want that bass a little louder because we're a trio, and part of what people enjoyed about our live sound was the interplay between the bass and the guitar. That's some of the feedback I was given. So I'm going to make that bass hover a little bit above the kick, but not by much, not, you know, by a couple of dBs maybe. But anyway, the goal right now is to use this audio statistics tool to get them to sit nicely together in the mix. And we still have a spread of about 6. At this point, we might as well get real precise about it. Let me see if I can pull up here's a calculator. We're going to go 40.74 minus 34.5. So the spread now is 6.24 dB. So we can actually just subtract that right off the bass. So that would be negative 21.4. Negative 21.4. Now you're thinking, oh, you're really dragging that bass low, but if that's what it needs in the mix, that's what it needs, and that's fine. And you can always put this back up. You could always add a plugin. Actually, yeah, let me make sure none of these plugins that I added have any gain boost to them. Oh man, I had auto makeup gain on the wow, that is ridiculous. Okay, so I had a plugin. When I was dinking around, I added a plugin that had auto makeup, which was making the bass louder. Let's listen to it without that and see what we get. All right. Now it looks like maybe in my left. Yeah, my left is going to be louder now. It's fun being a noob, isn't it? You can just laugh at yourself. Now, why isn't that kick? Like, there should be kick through all of that, and I don't know what. These are all turned left. You know what it is? It's that gate again. I believe the gate is. Yeah, every little decision you do affects everything else. So there was something up with the gate. My gate, I wasn't getting kicked throughout that second section, but I think I am now. Let's see here. There it goes. And you're getting a little snare coming through there too anyway. It doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, see, we still have quite a bit of spread. Now it's the bass. I know the bass needs to come up again. And just visually, I can see it's about 8 dB. So I'm going to add 8 dB back in here, which would bring it to like, what, like 13 dB. All right, see, now we're getting closer. This is good. I'm going to go ahead and reset it midstream. Oops, reset. Okay, there we go. See, now we're close. We're getting close now. All right, I'm going to stop the song. All right. So now we have on the left side, which let's double check again, because I forget too sometimes. We panned, oh, it's only 96% left. That could affect it too. So the kick is all the way on the left, and our average dB for the kick is -37. And I think if this number sounds low to you, because it sounds low to me too, I think it's because there's moments of silence in between. So it's averaging like, way low, below -30, and the peak. So I think it's registering super low. Plus we dialed everything back by 8. Anyway, but then we return these to 0. So this is confusing for me, but anyway, this audio statistics will let you see where two things are by doing this panning. The other thing you could do is just put audio statistics on each bus if you want, and have them open side by side. And we can do that right now. So like I said, this can be a throwaway track. Let's just go ahead and delete it now. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to put statistics on this one. Okay, because the whole left and right thing was throwing me off, and it messed up our gate. It messed up the gate. I'm not sure how. And there was something going on really weird with the sends on this. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm over my time limit that I set for myself of 20 minutes. So I'm kind of rambling, and I want to wrap this up here in a minute for you. But let's just get audio statistics on both. All right, let's have them side by side. All right, and this will be easier because now I know kick over here, bass over here. Let's pan the bass back to center. Okay, we're going to solo bass, solo kick, hit play. Okay, this is weird. All right, so there you can see side by side what your numbers are, and you can adjust from there. So anyway, that's a sort of a beginner way to balance your kick and bass. And I've had much better luck with this in other mixes. For some reason tonight was awkward, but that's okay. This is just a way for you to kind of get a glance at what you can do with the audio statistics and routing. So my name's Isaac. Thank you for watching. Please, if If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe on our channel, and give us some feedback, please. We need it. Thanks for watching.